the context of most of Paul's writings, but this letter in particular is a context of Jew versus or including Gentile in the tree or in the body together. See, we just don't relate to that the same today. We don't understand the animosity, the angst, the hatred even that was there for having them both be in the same belief. And so Paul, the context, everything we're going to read is about trying to explain to a Jew why the Gentiles are okay, and to a Gentile why the Jews are okay. That's what he's trying to, you need to get that point before we read anything else. In that framework, I'll point it out as it plays out. But you need to go, as it goes out here through this, you're going to see this constant comparison of the Jew to the Gentile in the context of those that were raised in Judaism and are not coming into belief versus those that are Jewish that did come into belief in Messiah, and those that were from the outside, the Goyim, the Gentiles, who came into belief, who before were in nothing. Who shall render to each one according to his belief. Actually, it really does say that, because your works are your belief. See, Christianity, all you Christians out there, please listen. Belief cannot be separated from works. I know you were taught that, but it cannot be. James tells you that. I will show you my belief. He says, you say you have belief, and I say I have works. I'll show you my belief by my works. Because the works are the truth about what you believe. A lot of people talk, but they don't walk. Your walk is your talk. Doesn't matter what your mouth is saying. I remember hearing this a long, long time ago in one of the trainings, motivational, whatever, personal development things. Your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. You may be saying all this stuff, but your actions don't say that. He said in John 14, if you love me, guard the commands. And by the way, the Holy Spirit receiving, I'm sorry to all you Pentecostals and charismatics, the Holy Spirit receiving is predicated on, if you love me, guard the commands, and then I will send you the helper. So all of you Torah-breaking Pentecostals, I don't know what spirit you think you have. I'm not trying to get you all mad at me. Look, you know what? You don't like what I said. Let's read John 14 so you hear it. Verse 14, if you ask whatever in my authority, I shall do it. If you love me, you'll guard my commands. And I shall ask the Father, and he shall give. Do you see the order in that? If you love me, you'll guard my commands, and I will ask the Father to send you a helper to stay with you forever, the Spirit of truth, which is him, by the way. He's talking about himself, not a third entity. How do you know that, Rabbi? Well, it says, whom the world is unable to receive because it doesn't see him or know him, but you know him, for he stays with you now and shall be in you. Then he goes, if that wasn't clear enough, I shall not leave you orphans. I am coming to you. He says, but the ones who don't obey the truth, he says, but obey unrighteousness. Oh, Sunday is unrighteousness. Sorry to break your bubble. Pork, shellfish, catfish, all that junk, shrimp. Unrighteous. Christmas, Easter, unrighteous. Halloween, fall festival, super unrighteous. Please question these things in your churches and your pastors and everything else. You'll get thrown out for doing it, but just please question it. Wear it like a badge of honor that you get thrown out. And now come and find the truth. Because you got to obey the truth. It says there, these are people who do not obey the truth. But you don't want the truth. I feel like in, A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. But you can. A lot of you just can't handle the truth. And as a matter of fact, let's use it from a physical manipulative side. You can't actually handle, have and hold and use properly the truth. So if I give you Shabbat, do you handle it right? I give you Kashrut, do you handle it right? I give you the Moedim, the feast, do you handle them right? I give you tithing, I give you all these things, do you handle them right? How do you handle them? You're going to get what you earned. Whether you were born into covenant or not, you have all the same opportunity. There is no advantage, except that the Jews had it first. But what they do with it is the same as you being second, what you do with it. Equal. They don't get a bias because they had it first. They just had it first. That's just the way it is. So that verse 14 and 15, I hope that makes more sense now when you read it, right? For when the Gentiles who do not have the Torah by nature, not when the Gentiles who do not have Torah by nature do the Torah, because that's what I was always hearing people say, oh no, we as Gentiles just naturally know how to keep Torah. Really? I haven't seen that. What Torah are you keeping? Oh, no, by nature, we make up our own. We're good. It says we're a Torah unto ourselves. That's ridiculous. And that's not the point, obviously, that Paul's making if you see the context of what he's saying. He's simply saying what the Jews were expected to do, you're expected to do too, and it does not matter which one you were born. That is the point, okay? However, not all obeyed the good news. So if the good news was, as Christianity has taught you, just the good news about Messiah coming and dying and being resurrected, I'm saying that is part of it. But if that was it, what is there to obey? If you're just acknowledging that he came, died, and was resurrected and is sitting at the right hand, if that's all you're acknowledging, where is something there to obey? Because it says here, Paul's talking about, however, not all obeyed the good news. So there's something about good news and obedience, and it comes all the way back to where Isaiah was talking, way before Messiah put on a flesh suit. So this good news is not only a New Testament idea. We've talked about that in the first 8 parts, certainly in the first 4 or 5 parts, okay? For Messiah is the goal of the Torah unto righteousness to everyone who believes. Messiah is the goal. In some translations it says Messiah is the end. The Greek is telos, which means end or result, as an end result, not an end like finished, it's done away with. It is the end result you're aiming for. It is the purpose, it is the goal. That's what the word means. It says, so Messiah is the end result of Torah observance. He's not the end of the law, which is what Christianity teaches you, like he finished it and it's done and gone away with. He's saying, you guys, my brothers, my heart's desire and prayer is that you guys are delivered from this nonsense because Messiah is what you're aiming at. It's the point of the Torah observance. It is the purpose. It is the end result. It's the goal. So if you are Torah observant, covenanted, and you walk this out, you transform and become him. You become like him. For with the heart one believes unto righteousness. See, the Jews, the Israelites, coming out of Sinai, had a heart problem. It said many of them did not believe, and so they were laid low in the desert. He said, listen now, for with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and one confesses with the mouth, and so is delivered. See, righteousness is a part of that. Oh no, Christianity said, no, you just got to confess, you believe that, whatever. Okay, you just have to say, Jesus is the Messiah. Good. What does that do for you? Does it deliver you from anything? Oh yes, my whole life, whatever. Nothing in your life changed unless you changed, okay? You did something. Gentiles, listen, you were brought in to do what they failed to do, not to replace and not have to do. You were brought in to show and demonstrate and provoke them to jealousy by doing what they were expected to do. You get that? It's important. You were brought in because you were there to provoke to jealousy. They're not jealous of you eating pork and shellfish. They're not jealous of you keeping Sunday, Christmas, and Easter. They're not jealous of any of that stuff. They're wondering why you're keeping Torah, where your belief is coming from, why your life is so blessed. And it is. I don't care what's going on in your life, it's blessed. Because of their failures, they were scattered. And in order to go regather as was promised, message, remember it says, who can understand unless they hear, and they can't hear unless somebody speaks, and if they don't speak, they can't speak unless they're sent. Sending them out to gather means everybody can hear, and the whomsoever wills, including Gentiles, can come as he opens up their eyes and ears and minds. So their failure is what made this door open. Now, it would have worked similarly but differently. Similarly meaning the door still would have opened. Had they been the nation they were supposed to be on the hill as a light, the nations would have been drawn to them. But that's not the way it played out. So he's doing it this way because of their failure. Now, their failure didn't mean they lost out completely. It means that in the large numbers of them that failed, it opened the door to do this. He chose to go in this direction, and then ultimately now they're bringing them both together.